Powered by TEDx Caledonian. Today, in honor of Mother's Day, we are celebrating women who ignite change and inspire us all. We are honored to have a doctor, an army officer, and a civil servant, Major Dr. Sumit Mud. SDM Pathankot, welcome, ma'am.
Thank you so much.
Ma'am, your journey is a testament to dedication and service. Could you tell us about the spark that ignited your passion for medicine, military, and public service?
Um, my father tells me that since a very young age, I was only about 2 to 3 years old when I started talking. I always used to say that I want to become a doctor. I don't know why there was no doctor in my family. Maybe I might have gone somewhere, might have seen some doctor, might have gotten impressed by her, but I wanted to be a doctor as far as I can remember. So I started preparing after 12th, and I got into MBBS in my first attempt. I did my MBBS from Government Medical College, Amritsar. And then I appeared for the interview for Short Service Commission in the Army. I got selected and I joined Army. I have served in the Northeast region, and while I was serving there, I saw that there would be a lot of people who would not come to seek medical help. We used to run Ops Bhavna, where we used to treat not just Fauji's but also the civilians there, free of cost. But I realized that people would come one day and then they would miss their next appointment. I was very bewildered that why are they not coming, because we are treating them free of cost. So when I talked to them, they used to say like कि मैडम हम काम करने जाते हैं, if we come तो हमारा एक दिन का पैसा नहीं मिलेगा, एक दिन का लेबर नहीं मिलेगा. Then I realized that for us health may be a priority, for them health comes in the luxury section. Their basic requirements are so much that for them going for health checkup or going for their medicines was a luxury they could not afford, because otherwise they'll have to miss their one day pay. So then I realized that if I'm a doctor and I can only help them in their medical field. And that inspired me कि if I become a civil servant, I would be able to touch various aspects of their lives. And I realized that once their basic needs are fulfilled, the food is taken care of, their households are taken care of, the kids are taken care of, basically their food and basic requirements, then only they think about health and other aspects, studies. So that was the thing which motivated me towards civil services, and I started preparing while I was in Fauj. I took NOC. I was in my 7th year of service. I took NOC from Fauj that I want to appear. Then I prepared, and when I cleared, then I hung my boots, and now I'm here.
That's wonderful. As a woman in leadership, that barriers you have faced and how have you overcome them to achieve your goals? What advice would you give to young women who aspire to leadership positions?
I think in my success or whatever journey I have traveled, there's a huge contribution of my parents, especially my father. He has always encouraged me. He was always rooting for women education, and he used to motivate everybody. I come from a middle class family, and I remember when I wanted to become a doctor, and there would be people telling that why are you putting her in medical? It is very costly, and she won't earn for you. Ultimately, she'll go to some other's house, she'll get married. Why are you doing that? My father was adamant that he always says that it is very important for a man or a guy to work and earn, but it is a must for a woman to be financially independent. So my father has been the key person in guiding me and supporting me. Uh, I think because of him, I can say that my journey has been very easy as far as the support, because once you get your parent support, the thing which is left is to study. So I was good in studying, and I got the help from my parents. I think the major obstacle which probably the girls face is families don't support sometimes for them to pursue their dreams, especially if their dreams are not conventional or not in line with what the other people in the same environment or same probably the same colony or same households or same relationships, रिश्तेदारियां जो होती हैं हमारी उसमें then if you want to do something which is different from what everybody is doing in your area or your immediate surroundings, then the support of parents and family becomes utmost important. So I urge the parents to support their children equally, maybe the girl child, maybe the boy child, so that they can achieve whatever they want to achieve.
Mother's Day is a celebration of women who inspire and nurture us. Who are the women who have ignited your life, both personally and professionally?
Personally, I think each and every person, the first interaction or first motivation is always your parents. And though my mother has been a homemaker, but she has always inspired me because she has always taken care of the house also. She has taken care of us. She has been a strong partner with my father in whatever way she could support. So my mother has been a very big support and a big motivation in case of like women motivation. And then I think when you see around, you see your little motivations in each and every one. Like my buas, they were working, they were in the medical field, but they were like staff nurses. So that was also because of my father, because my father was the eldest one. So my buas were very young, and there was a huge age gap between my father and his sisters. So he was always a father figure. So he always motivated them to be independent. And when it came to me, I saw that from the same households, from the same area, if my buas are there who are striving for their mark in the world, I can be. And then there would be like we see our teachers, especially the female teachers, our principals, or any sports personalities for that matter, they all inspire us.
As SDM of Pathankot, what are some of the innovative approaches you're taking to tackle the unique challenges faced by your community?
Pathankot is a very peculiar district, I would say. If you look at the rest of the Punjab, the topography, the geography is different. The dialect is a bit different. There's more of, more touch of there's some parts which are very close to Himachali culture. So Pathankot that way is thoda sa different hai. But I feel Pathankot is a beautiful, beautiful place, and I am very happy to see that in spite of being a small district, so-called, the people are very aware about their rights. They are very outgoing. Even the women have a lot of say in their families. I have seen people, supporting their daughters, their wives, their sisters here. So as such, the challenges, I won't say that there have been particular challenges to overcome here, but there have been motivations and innovations. People are very accommodating of the innovations or whatever you want to do. Like in last years, we have been able to achieve zero paddy straw burning. So the people were very recipient of the, they were very receptive of the idea that you should not burn the crop residue. I remember there were ladies who had come suo moto to my office. I was the chief minister's field officer at that time in Pathankot. They came to me with the videos that there was no water supply in a particular 4-5 houses were there, and there are tikas here, small you can say collection of houses. So in their particular tika, there was the water supply was not very regular. So they used to go and take water from the baulis. When they came together and they came for to us for help, me along with our deputy commissioner, we went there, we saw the plight, and we gave them money from the district mineral fund, and then we were able to lay a pipeline there, and we were able to provide water to the households. So there are small things which are challenging. At the same time, they are very satisfactory once you achieve them, and you see the people, you make a difference in people's life.
In the spirit of the TEDx Caledonian theme, Ignite, what advice would you give to individuals who are looking to spark innovation and inspiration in their own lives and communities?
See, this one thing I usually tell all the young minds, though the minds nowadays, the younger people are very bright and they're very well informed. But this is an age where I think everybody on some level gets into competition. Competition, healthy competition is nice, but they get into comparisons. So I always tell the kids that no matter what you do, no matter who you are, there will always be somebody who's more beautiful, who's more intelligent, who's more maybe tall, maybe smarter, maybe getting good marks, well connected, who maybe having an affluent family. In any way you feel that that person is better than you, don't let that get into your head. Don't go into comparisons. You have to understand that if the universe, the nature, or God, whatever supreme power you want to call the supreme power, if they have taken out special efforts to carve a human being unique, then I don't think we are meant to compare ourselves with each other. The only comparison you should do is what you were yesterday and strive to be better at. Whatever innovative ideas you have, don't let anybody dictate that you cannot do this or this is not doable. I always tell them, dude, for example, if you're a boy, don't let anybody tell you that you cannot do maybe classical dance, and if you're a girl, you cannot do boxing. You can do whatever you want, and whatever innovative ideas you have, please go for it. Believe in yourself, and don't let the the small things get in your ways. Don't let the people who talk negative get in your way. Always focus on the positive things. Whenever if you make a mistake also, just accept it, learn from it, and move on. Don't be stuck up brooding over it.
It's very inspirational. With the upcoming general elections on the horizon, what strategies do you recommend for increasing voter turnout among women?
See, in the light of upcoming general elections, we have been conducting sweep programs. Sweep is basically an activity where we outreach people to encourage them to be a part of the voting process, and to encourage them to increase the voting percentage. Uh, I have gone to a lot of colleges, especially the women colleges, to inspire them and to motivate them that they should use their vote very judiciously. And generally, it happens that on voting day, it is a holiday, so everybody feels that the summer, it's summers, or bahut garmi hai, yeah, we've got one day off, let's relax. But I always tell them that this democracy, this freedom has come with a lot of efforts. People have died for it, people have laid their lives for this freedom, and to run this democracy, elections are an integral part. So it is very, very important for all of us to come together and vote with our free will. So especially the women voters, sometimes women are a bit reluctant to come to the voting booths and vote because they feel ki nahi, we are stuck at home, or things like that. We have tried our best to outreach, to go into the school, colleges, and even the remote villages. We have tried to motivate them, tell them about their voting rights. And it is not just a responsibility, but it is a huge power that our constitution has given us. You can choose your own government. What bigger power do you want in a country? So I urge all the voters, especially the women voters, please come forward and join us in this election process and be a part of it.
How do you balance the demands of your career with your personal life, and what self care practices help you stay energized and focused?
See, every job has a different uh, schedule and different demand. Being a civil servant, this job is a lot. Is a lot demanding than the other jobs, because we don't have very fixed working hours. Like now elections are there, so we have to work 24/7. We we cannot. We are not in that typical 9 to 5 job that after 5 o'clock you switch off your mind, you switch off your phone, and then you are dedicatedly at your home with your kids and with your family. We have to be on job 24/7. So yes, it takes a lot of effort to strike that balance. But I think over the time, your family also understands. My kid also understands that there are official responsibilities which come with me as a package, and they have somehow accepted it. I try my best that whatever work is there, I try to finish within the stipulated time, and uh, I try to spend time with my child and my family. And sometimes when the things go really very taxing and I'm really tired, reading a good book or listening to some good music, it always revives me. And the best unwinding, I think, is playing with my son and my dog. So we play together in the evenings. That in a way unwinds me.
What is your vision for the future of Pathankot, and what steps are you taking to ignite positive change and create a bigger tomorrow for its residents?
See, Pathankot, I look at Pathankot with a lot of hopes. There's a lot of potential. Pathankot is technically considered as a small district, but I always feel that potential wise, Pathankot has immense potential. The youth of Pathankot is really smart. Even the students are very bright. If you see in the 10th, 12th results, they are doing really, really good. Even in the competitive exams, the children are really doing very, very well, even in the sports. So, my vision for Pathankot is that whatever things are available in the bigger cities, I hope that one day we, with the collective efforts, we are able to provide here also. But in this vision, I think the utmost important which has to be given is to preserve the nature which is here. I think Pathankot has what other districts generally don't have, is the lush green surroundings. I live in Jugyal, so the area around there, and I think all of Pathankot is very green and very clean city environment wise. So that is our aspiration, that it should become a very well developed district, at the same time maintaining its environment.
What message would you like to share with all the mothers out there who are the driving force behind their children's success?
I want to salute all the mothers. I want to tell you that irrespective of what you are doing, if you are working, if you're a homemaker, if you're a teacher, doctor, civil servant, for your child, you are the most important person. You'll always be. And I am nobody to give advice to any mother about parenting. I think every mother has got it God gifted. Everyone has a unique parenting style, and everybody's parenting style is fine. We all are trying our best. Please, I have one request with the mothers, that uh, while you're taking care of everybody, your children, your home, please don't forget to take care of yourself also. You cannot pour from an empty mug. So take care of your health also. Try to be happy. And the kids, I read somewhere that kids, they do not want a perfect mother. They want a happy mother. So this is what I try to be. I don't say I'm perfect. I might be having my flaws, because we are all human beings. I try to connect with my child. Like, there's one thing which I have with my child is BFF mode. So whenever he comes to me, he has to tell me something, he has done something, or something has happened which is, he's reluctant to tell me. He'll tell me ki, mama, now switch on your BFF mode. BFF is best friends forever mode. So the rules for BFF mode are that whatever he tells me in that mode, I cannot judge, I cannot scold, I cannot be no I cannot take it negatively, and I cannot bring that up in another time, to tell him कि उस time आपने ये किया था. So this is one thing which I try to do, because if we don't give them that opportunity or that platform to share things with us, now they have smaller problems. God forbid tomorrow if they have bigger problems, they will not come to us to share. So the only thing I expect, and my appeal is to the parents, that please have that connection with your child, that he or she is, feels very confident and very safe in coming to you and telling howsoever that thing might be. He or she should not feel ki I don't have to tell this to my parents, so I have to hide it from my parents. I want that, God forbid, something goes wrong or he has done, some mistake has happened. I don't want him to think, oh shit, what if my mama knows about it? I want him to think, oh my God, I need to call my mother. I need to tell my mother this thing. This is one thing I have learned, and I would like, I'm sure most of the parents are doing it, but I would like others to incorporate if they can.
This is the rapid fire round.
Okay.
What's your favorite way to unwind after a long day?
Reading a good book or listening to music and playing with my children.
Okay. What book or movie has inspired you recently?
This year I've not been able to read much books, but I have reread two of my favorite books. And I think Tuesdays with Muri has always been my favorite, and it is something, if everybody should read it once in their lifetime, because it gives you a lesson that life is very precious, and you have to live it. You don't have to let it pass.
All right. If you could have dinner with any historical figure, who would it be and why?
There would be many people, but I think one particular person would be Kalam Saab, because my biggest regret has been that I've not been able to meet him in his lifetime, in my lifetime. So if I could, go back and have a chance to have a dinner with one historical person, I think I would have it with Kalam Saab.
Okay. So thank you for today.
Thank you so much for having us. Thank you so much for having us.